ஆழ்வார் திருவடிகளே சரணம், எம்பெருமானார் திருவடிகளே சரணம், ஜீயர் திருவடிகளே சரணம், ஜீயர் திருவடிகளே சரணம், ஆளவந்தார் திருவடிகளே சரணம், பெரியவாச்சான் பிள்ளை திருவடிகளே சரணம். ஸ்ரீசைலேஷ தயாபாத்திரம் தீபக்தியாதி குணார்ணவம் யதீந்திர பிரவணம் வந்தே ரம்ய ஜாமாதரம் முனிம் ரம்ய ஜாமாத்திரி யோகீந்திர பாத ரேகாமயம் சதா ததாயத்தாத்ம சத்தாதிம் ராமானுஜ முனிம் பஜே. லக்ஷ்மீநாத சமாரம்பாம் நாதே யாமுன மத்தியமாம் அஸ்மத் ஆச்சாரிய பரியந்தாம் வந்தே குரு பரம்பராம். व्यामोहत सदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर् भगवतोऽस्य दैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये. मातापिता योते स्तनया विभूतिः सर्वं यदेव नियमेन मदन्मयानाम् आद्यस्य न कुलपतेरुक्लामं श्रीमत्तदङ्घ्रियुगळं प्रणमामि मूर्ध्ना. भूतं शरश्च महताह्वय भट्टनाथ श्रीभक्तिसार कुलशेखर योगिवाहान् भक्ताङ्घ्रिरेण परकाले यतीन्द्रमिश्रान् श्रीमत्पराङ्कुशमुनिं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यम्. Today we are having a wonderful commencement of sthOthra rathnam, which is foremost of our Purvacharya stotrams. This is considered to be the first sthOthra grantham composed by our Purvacharyas. Starting with Sriman Nathamunigal, we've had many wonderful acharyas in our Guru Parampara. Among them, Yamunacharya, Alavandar, is someone who is very special. First of all, his birth is foretold by Sriman Nathamunigal himself. Sriman Nathamunigal himself foretold that he will have a grandson who will bring greatness to our sampradayam. It is not just because he is Nathamunigal's grandson, but Nathamunigal had this vision that one of his descendants will bring greatness to our sampradayam. And hence he advised his disciple, Uyakondar, Pundarikaksha, to nurture his grandson when he is born. But during Uyakonda's time, Yamunacharya was not born. He was born subsequently during Manakal Nambi's time. Manakal Nambi is Sri Ramamishra. Sriman Nathamunigal's son is Ishwara Muni, and Ishwara Muni's son is Yamuna Muni, Yamunacharya, who is subsequently known as Alavandar. This Yamunacharya had composed two important sthOthra granthams. One on Periyapiratiyar, Sri Mahalakshmi Tayar, which is Chatushloki. And then second is on Bhagavan, which is sthOthra rathnam. Today we are commencing this series of lectures on sthOthra rathnam in English. We will go through the Taniyans today. In the next session, we will go through the Avatarika, that is introduction for this sthOthra grantham's Vyakyanam, commentary, which is given by Periyavachan Pillai. And subsequent sessions, we will see each shlokam in a brief manner. We will go through the Avatarika in a very detailed manner because it gives a very good overview of the grantham. But subsequently, each shlokam, we will go through them in a brief manner to get an idea. We already have detailed translation of Periyavachan Pillai's wonderful commentary in our koil.org in the Divya Prabandham site. So, requesting all the viewers to go through the commentary either after listening to the lecture or before listening to the lecture, whenever it is convenient for you, preferably after listening to the lecture, so that you can go deep into the meanings of the shlokams and understand the philosophy of Alvars and Acharyas. This sTothra Grantham is a priceless Grantham. Today we are just going to commence the series of lectures. I thought of starting at 8 o'clock, but due to uh, some kankariam, it got delayed. So we won't go the full session today, but we will just have a brief introduction. First, we will see Alavanda's life very briefly, and then we will understand the purpose of this Grantham, sTothra Rathnam, and then we will see the Taniyans for sTothra Rathnam, and then we'll conclude the session today, and we'll continue on next week with the Avatarika. There are many wonderful compositions by our Purvacharyas. Bhagavan blessed Alvars with divine knowledge and devotion. Mayarvara Madinalam. That is the terminology in Tamil, which is Bhakti Rupapanna Jnanam. That is how it is explained in Sanskritam. Jnanam, which is matured into Bhakti, that was given by Bhagavan to Alvars, and that's what made them Alvars. Otherwise, they were all ordinary samsaris in this world. They were handpicked by Bhagavan and they were blessed by Bhagavan. Why did he do that? Why did he give this divine knowledge and devotion to Alvars and made them Alvars? There is a brief history for that. Let us see that history very briefly. We may have seen this in other places, but just to recap, Bhagavan's favors for all the Jivatmas in this world. We have to recollect this every time we start any important Grantha, because this is the crux of our Sampradaya. The favor done by Bhagavan. That is the biggest philosophical point. All the benefit which we are getting today, our orientation towards spirituality, our devotion, our knowledge, everything is due to Bhagavan's Nirhetuka Kripa. That is costless mercy, unconditional grace. That is what is the defining factor for whatever good aspects which we are getting today. Let's say we are into Sampradayam, we are learning Sampradaya principles, we are trying to understand the principles and put things into practice. We are not very advanced. I'm talking about myself first. Just got the blessings from elders, from Purvacharyas, to know a few things and trying to practice a little bit. Not more, not much, but just a little bit. Because the standards set by our Purvacharyas are very, very high. So we are trying a little bit day by day, trying to improve, trying to focus on matters relating to Bhagavan, Bhagavatas, Acharya. So slowly we are all trying. We have a long way to go. We have just started our journey in spiritual progress. We have a long way to go. But we should not be demotivated. Oh, it's a big path, very lengthy path. We should not be demotivated because we are not doing anything on our own. Everything is coming down from the Supreme Bhagavan. By His grace, Alvars acquired knowledge and devotion. By the grace of Alvars, Acharyas acquired knowledge and devotion. By the grace of our Purvacharya Parampara, coming up to our Acharyas, we are getting all these wonderful knowledge, wisdom, and we are also having their blessings, their kataksham. Their upadesham is there, their kataksham is there. Both their instructions are there and their mercy is there. Both are required. Just by kataksham, their merciful glance will develop some goodness. But we have to listen to their upadesham. The whole point of our Alvars, Acharyas, documenting all their experiences, all their realizations into Divya Prabandhams, Stotrams, Vyakhyanams, Rahasya Granthams, their Vyakhyanams. All of these were given for the benefit of all of us. It is not just for their own enjoyment or their own uh, fame. They did not go behind name, fame, wealth, and so on. Kyati Labha Puja were never the goal of Alvars and Acharyas. Name, fame, and wealth. That is not the goal of our Alvars and Acharyas. They were complete well wishers for all of us. They always looked out for the well-being of all of us, all the Atmas. They did not discriminate. Oh, you are a Brahmana, you can come and learn. You are Shudra, you should not learn. You are Mlecha, you should not learn. Our Acharyas did not discriminate like that. They were very liberal when it comes to knowledge sharing. This is a very important point to understand. We also have to follow the same principle. When it comes to Anushtanams, personal contact, personal practice, our Alvars Acharyas, they were very, very strict. But when it comes to sharing knowledge, they were very liberal. That is the role model for us. Toduminir Kodumin Konmin, says Tondradipudi Alvar. Have mutual respect between Bhagavatas. Share the knowledge, share the devotion, then it will multiply. It will not stay with one person and die with that person. Rather, it will expand. So that is the whole mood of our Alvars and Acharyas. And that is what Bhagavan wanted. And that is why Bhagavan blessed Alvars with this divine knowledge and devotion, or the divine devotion, which is a matured form of knowledge. And why did he do that? Because he wants to help all the Jivatmas in this samsara, the place where we are living. This is known as samsara, material world. The place where Bhagavan is eternally living is known as Paramapadam, Sri Vaikuntham. Bhagavan is present happily there with Nityasuris and Muktatmas. He is accompanied by the divine consorts, Sri Devi, Bhumi Devi, Neela Devi, and innumerable consorts. They are all residing in Sri Vaikuntham together in a very blissful and joyful environment. There is only happiness, there is only enjoyment. Bhagavan and his main consorts, Sriman Narayana, Sri Mahalakshmi, Bhumi Devi, Neela Devi, they are all served by all the other consorts, Nityasuris, Muktatmas. Nityasuris are the eternal residents of Sri Vaikuntham who never got affected by the samsara, karma. Muktatmas were in samsara previously. They got liberated by the grace of Bhagavan eventually. So Nityasuris and Muktatmas are there serving Bhagavan constantly, eternally, and bringing happiness every moment. to Bhagavan and his divine consorts. Bhagavan is happily enjoying there. Still, he is not satisfied. That is because he looks into samsara, which is also his wealth. He is known as Ubhaya Vibhutinatha. Ubhaya Vibhutinatha means one who owns Nitya Vibhuti, Sri Vaikuntham, and Leela Vibhuti, samsara. Both are properties of Bhagavan, possessions of Bhagavan. Nitya Suris and Muktatmas are residing in Nitya Vibhuti. In Leela Vibhuti, Baddhatmas are residing. Baddhatmas are bound souls. Muktatmas are liberated souls. Nitya Suris are eternally free souls. All of these Atmas are present. Nitya Suris and Muktatmas in Sri Vaikuntham, and Baddhatmas, bound souls, they are all present in this samsara. Everyone has same relationship with Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the Lord, everyone is a servitor for him. Bhagavan is father, everyone is children for him. There are many relationships between Bhagavan and Atmas. Generally, it is said that there are 9 relationships, Navavida Sambandham. Among those, Sheshi, being the Lord, Pita, being the father, these are important relationships Bhagavan has towards all the Atmas. So, because everyone is Bhagavan's children, everyone is Bhagavan's servitor, everyone is serving Bhagavan in one way or the other. It's just Nitya Suris and Muktatmas, they accept that they are servitors of Bhagavan. Baddhatmas, they don't accept. They are engaged in worldly pleasures, continuously being born in this world, growing up, becoming old, getting affected by diseases, and dying finally. And then again taking birth. Birth for an Atma means getting a body. Death for an Atma means relinquishing that body. That's all. Atma doesn't have any birth or death. Atma is always permanent. It's neither created nor destroyed. Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita, first instruction, Tatve Vaham Jatunasham, Tatve Neme Janadipaha. In that shlokam, Bhagavan is saying that Atma is neither created nor destroyed. He is telling that all the Atmas here, all the kings here, you, me, none of us are created. We are all present. It's just we have got a particular body now. That body will be relinquished after some time. So, Atmas in this world, Baddhatma, they are continuously going through this cycle of birth and death. Bhagavan thinks, why they have to be suffering in this samsara? They also deserve to be with Bhagavan in Paramapadam. So, he puts in lot of effort to correct, reform the Jivatmas and accept them in Paramapadam. Jivatmas who are present in this world, samsara, we have to understand that they have always been in samsara only. It is not that they have come from Vaikuntham or somewhere else. In some sampradayas, they say, go back to Godhead. Go back to Vaikuntham. That is not our sampradaya. That is not Vedanta. Vedanta clearly says that Atmas are bound here since Anadi. There is no beginning for that. Karma is also Anadi. There is no beginning for one's karma. Atma is also Anadi, Karma is also Anadi. But they have an end point, a possible end point in this samsara. At that end point, when all their punya and papa are evaporated, are exhausted, then they get to reach Vaikuntham. They get to go to Vaikuntham, not go back to Vaikuntham. So they get to go to Vaikuntham. So that opportunity is available for every Atma. How many Atmas are there? Can we count them? No, infinite. There is no count. So this samsara will always exist, because when we take as many Atmas we want, and or when Bhagavan takes as many Atmas he wants from here and places them in Paramapadam, still from infinite, from infinity, if we reduce even infinity, there will be more Atmas in this world. So samsara will be always there, Atmas will always be there. But Bhagavan gives the opportunity to everyone to attain him, to reach him. For that, he takes many, many efforts. Just like a farmer to bring harvest, harvest doesn't come in one day. The farmer first tills the land, he plows the land, tills the land, and then he plants seeds, waters the place, remove the weeds, watch for the animals and birds coming and destroying the plants, crops. And then finally, when the harvest comes, he cuts the crops, beats them, brings out the grains or whatever, and then he takes the grains, he takes some of them to his home, he prepares good meal with that grain and he consumes them. So to consume food, he is going through so much process, and also for his own sustenance, he needs these uh, crops to grow and be harvested so that he can make some sustenance out of it. Similarly, Bhagavan has to enjoy and sustain. So he takes Atmas from samsara and carries them to Paramapadam through a set of processes, and he enjoys them there. And by doing this, he sustains himself. Only by protecting all the Atmas, he is sustaining himself. So Bhagavan takes many efforts, just like the example of farmer. When the Mahapralayam happens, when everything is destroyed, there is complete absence of activity for a long time. Mula Prakriti, primordial matter, only that is existing. All the Atmas in this is all about samsara. Paramapadam is thriving, Bhagavan is enjoying there. But in samsara, only primordial matter is present, and that is also not visible. It's sukshma. It is subtle only. At that time, Atmas are all gathered together and they are all sticking to Mula Prakriti. Tamah para eki bhavati. They all become part of tamas, that is Mula Prakriti. So they are all the Atmas are in a helpless state. They don't have body. Without the body, they cannot do any activity. Without doing any activity, one cannot do anything good and reach Bhagavan. So, first, Bhagavan performs a sankalpam that let me become many, let me create. So, he performs this vow, and subsequently, he starts transforming Mula Prakriti into different achit, insentient aspects, objects, entities. And then once he creates the Andam, universe, not just one, countless universes, then he takes the Atmas based on their punya from past, because there is no beginning. Atmas have been continuously going through birth and death. Based on previous karma, Bhagavan takes the Atma who is having maximum punya and makes them as Brahma and lets Brahma create further. And through Brahma, Bhagavan creates Prajapati and Rudra and Skanda and so on. And then they all expand. The creation continues in a large scale. So this is how Bhagavan creates first. Now this creation itself is a very merciful act of Bhagavan, because nobody is there asking him. The Atmas don't even have any consciousness to ask anything to Bhagavan. So Bhagavan voluntarily does the creation. After creating, he teaches Vedam to Brahma. Vedam is again Anadi. It is also Anadi. There is no beginning for Vedam. It is Apaurushayam. Because it is Anadi, it is Nityam. That is, it is always existing. Because it is Nityam, it is Apaurushayam. Nobody authored it. Nityam means always existing. So because it's always existing, nobody would have created it. But how is Vedam present? How is it preserved? Bhagavan preserves Vedam in his heart during Mahapralayam. And then during Mahasrishti, when he creates all these countless universes, he creates Brahma in each of those universes, and then he teaches Vedam from his heart to Brahma. And then Brahma subsequently teaches Vedam, and that is how it comes up to current traditions. Thus he gives the Vedam, which is like a rule book for the Atmas to follow. Because when they are given body and senses, they wouldn't know what to do with the body. They wouldn't know what is correct, what is wrong. So that rule book is Shastram. Shasanati iti Shastraha. That which ordains. That is Shastram. So he gives this Shastram, Vedam and other Shastrams through different personalities, agents. And the Atmas, when they acquire body, they are expected to learn Shastram, understand the principles and progress towards Bhagavan. But many people don't respect Shastram. They don't follow Shastram. They are losing out. So Bhagavan thinks, let me incarnate myself and teach them good principles. So he incarnates as Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Narasimha, Vamana. Mainly, primarily 10 avatars, and then many more avatars are shown in Bhagavatam. There are countless avatars. Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacharjuna. Bhagavan says, I have many births, and you have many births, countless births. Ajayamano bahuda vijayate, says Shastram, Vedam, that the unborn is born in many incarnations. Pirapil Palpiravi Peruman, says Alvar. One who does not have birth is not created by anyone. He assumes many births on his own will, on his own liking. So he incarnates thinking that he can help. He tries in Ramavataram, Krishnavataram, Narasimhavataram, Vamanavataram, but very few people get benefited. Prahlad Alvan, Vidur Alvan, Akrura, Guha Perumal. Like this, only few become attracted towards Bhagavan and reach Bhagavan. Bhagavan is not satisfied with that. So, this is when he thinks we have to bring all the Atmas, maximum Atmas. So, he is thinking, if I go incarnate, then people will fear me that I am supreme. I have incarnated here. So, they will be scared of me. So, instead of me going and incarnating anymore, I should pick Jivatmas, give them knowledge and devotion, and then through them, I should reform other people. Because when a person like human comes and interacts with another human, there will be affiliation. They will listen to that person. So in this manner, Bhagavan chooses Atmas from this samsara and makes them alvars, and through them, Divya Prabandham is manifested, is given to the entire world, for the benefit of the entire world. Even though it is in Tamil, it is for the benefit of everyone. Divya Prabandham has this greatness given by Alvars. They are unlike Vedam or Veda Angams, which are only allowed to be studied by Trivarnikas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya. Even that after Upanayanam, after getting Brahmopadesham, only then they can study. Even though one person is born in a Brahmana family, if he doesn't get Upanayanam, Brahmopadesham, then he can also not recite Vedam. He can also not learn Vedam. But Divya Prabandhams, on the other hand, they can be learnt by everyone. There is an example given in Acharya Hridayam by Rameja Matru Deva, Adigamanal Perumal Nayanar, an Acharya who is the divine brother of Pillilokacharya. So he says, Mridgatam Polandru Porkudam. Vedam is like the clay pot. Divya Prabandham is like golden pot. Usually, for clay pot or uh, earthen pot, for that there are so many restrictions that only such and such persons can touch it. Only in certain times of the day we can touch it. Only after taking bath we can touch it. Like that, there are many rules. But for a golden pot, there is no such restriction. Anybody can touch it. It will not lose its purity. So Divya Prabandhams are like golden pot. Anybody can learn Divya Prabandhams. So Alvars were blessed by Bhagavan to give Divya Prabandhams and reform the world. And it did have a great impact. We see this in the times of Nammalvar, Periyalvar, Tirumangai Alvar, where many people became devotees of Bhagavan and started following Sampradaya principles. But there was a degradation time. There was a dark period where after Alvar's times, there were about 2000, 3000 years where these were all not well visible outside. So Bhagavan again ensured that acharyas were born, and these acharyas were blessed by Alvars, starting with Sriman Nathamunigal, Alavandar, Bhagavad Ramanuja, and many acharyas. They were all born and they all uplifted the Sampradaya and the people of this world. So this is how Bhagavan is giving favors for us. Many different layers of favors. And then he also reveals Rahasya Trayam, Tirumantram, Dvaya Mahamantram, Charma Shlokam. So that is another favor through which we can bypass the Shastram route. Instead of taking a rigorous study of Shastram and deep analysis of Shastram and trying to reach Bhagavan, one can learn Rahasya Trayam along with their meanings and reach Bhagavan through that. So in this manner, Bhagavan is doing lots of favors for Jivatmas for their upliftment. So in that, after Sriman Nathamunigal, there was Viyakondar and Manakal Nabi, and after that, Nathamunigal's divine son, Ishwara Munigal, he gives birth to Yamunacharya. He was named Yamunacharya because Sriman Nathamunigal had great affiliation towards Ayodhya, Mathura, Gokulam, and so on. They had served there. Because of that affiliation of Nathamunigal towards Krishna, being in the shores of Yamuna, when born, Alavandar was given this divine name Yamunacharya, Yamuna, Yamunaituraivar. Even when he was 5 years old, he had brilliant mind, and he was able to grasp things so quickly. So they did the Upanayanam ceremony for Yamunacharya in 5 years itself. When he was 5 years old, it was done. And then we all know the incident when the Raja Purohita, the chief priest of the kingdom of that region, he sends message to all the poets in the region to offer him some money as offering so that they can continue their profession of being a poet. At the time, Yamunacharya challenges that scholar, Raja Purohita, and then he comes to the king's court. He defeats the Raja Purohita in debate, and at that time, the queen had placed a bet along with the king that Yamunacharya will win, Yamunaitura will win, and if he loses, she will become a servant maid to the king. The king promised the queen that the priest will win, and if the priest loses, then he will give half the kingdom to Yamunaituraiva. So as Yamunaituraiva, Yamuna won the debate, the king gave half the kingdom to Yamuna, and then he became the ruler of that kingdom, and that is when the queen calls him Alavandar, the one who came to rule me. That is the name Alavandar, which is given by the queen, because otherwise she would have become a servant maid. So he saved her from her situation. Because of that, she embraced the child and glorified the child. And then Alavandar went into administering the kingdom and got into that. Eventually, Sri Ramamishra Swami, Manakal Nambi, he comes to Alavandar's kitchen and serves green leaves every day. And with that, Yamuna, Alavandar became very addicted to the taste. One day he stopped, Manakal Nambi stopped going to Alavandar's palace, and then Alavandar came running to Manakal Nambi and asked why he was doing that, what benefit he needs. At that time, Manakal Nambi says, Manakal Nambi is Pundarikaksha's disciple. He says, I don't want any benefit from you, but I want to give you some benefit, which is given to me by your grandfather, Srimad Nathamunigan. And then he teaches Bhagavad Gita to Alavandar, and listening to Bhagavad Gita, Alavandar becomes very pure. And then finally he asks, please show me the target of this Bhagavad Gita. The knowledge shown in Bhagavad Gita shows who. When Alavandar asked that, Manakal Nambi took him to Sri Ranganatha, and Sri Ranganatha Periya Perumal in Sri Rangam showed his beautiful form to Alavandar, and Alavandar became mesmerized in Bhagavan's beauty. Immediately he takes up sannyasa ashramam, gives up his family life, and then starts living in Sri Rangam. So this is a brief introduction, and then subsequently many disciples come and join him, and he gives great knowledge to him. He was instrumental in identifying Bhagavad Ramanuja. When Bhagavad Ramanuja was studying in Kanchipuram under Yadav Prakasha, Alavandar comes to Kanchipuram and he identifies, based on Tirukachinambi's help, this Kanchipurna's help, he identifies Bhagavad Ramanuja and he declares that he is the supreme Acharya who is going to reform this Sampradaya, and he goes to Varadaraja Bhagavan and prays and performs Sharanagati that Bhagavad Ramanuja is fast-tracked into the Sampradaya. He was young and learning from Advaita scholar Yadav Prakasha, or a variation of that Advaita, and Alavandar wanted Bhagavad Ramanuja to come into the fold of Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya and teach Sampradaya principles to everyone. So that is Alavandar's divine Charitram in a very brief manner. Such Alavandar has given Yamunacharya, subsequently he became to be known as Yamunacharya. He has given beautiful granthams on Sri Mahalakshmi and Srimad Narayana. On Sri Mahalakshmi he has given Chatushloki. On Srimad Narayana he has given sThothra rathnam. In this sThothra rathnam he brings out the essence of Dvaya Mahamantram. So that is why this grantham is known as sThothra rathnam. Rathnam means precious gem. So it is a very precious gem for our Sampradayam. Just like there is Purana Ratnam. Vishnu Puranam is known as Purana Ratnam. Dvaya Mahamantram is known as Mantra Ratnam. That is because of the greatness of that mantra. Similarly, among all the stotrams, this stotram is known as sThothra rathnam, which was composed by Alavandar. Subsequently, Periyavachan Pillai has composed a beautiful commentary for this divine Grantham. It has got 65 shlokams, very wonderful shlokams. We are going to see. Just give me 1 second. So we are going to see these shlokams in a brief manner subsequently. but it has got the essence of our Sri Vaishnava Sampradayam, mainly Sharanagati, Dvaya Mahamantram, its detailed explanation, glories of Bhagavan, his auspicious qualities, Nitya Bhuti, Leela Bhuti, all of that are beautifully explained in this Stotra Ratnam. Let us first see the Taniyans for this beautiful Prabandham. There are two Taniyans. They are composed by Bhagavad Ramanuja. First Taniyan is Swadayaniha Sarvesham Trayantartam Sudurgraham Stotra Yamasa Yogindraha Tam Vande Yamunahvayam. The brief meanings for this Taniyan is I worship that Alavandar who is the best among the yogis who revealed the Vedanta principles. Many great personalities have revealed the principles of Vedanta, like the rishis, Vedavyasa, who did Brahma Sutram, and then subsequently Bodhayana, he did a uh, Vritti Grantham, an explanation for Brahma Sutram. All of these are explanation for Vedantam. Many such sages, they have all explained Vedantam, and subsequently Alvars, Acharyas, Sriman Nathamunigal, Pundarikaksha, Sri Ramamishra, they have all narrated, explained these Vedanta principles, which are very difficult to comprehend. But Alavandar composed these difficult to comprehend principles in a very simple stotram format. These stotrams are such that we can easily memorize them. When they are in shlokam format, when they are in prose, it is difficult to memorize. But shlokams, poetry is easy to memorize. So we can memorize and also understand the meanings better, in a better way. So to be understood easily by all, Alavandar has given the great principles of Vedanta in this Stotra Ratnam. So that is the first Taniyan. And then there is another Taniyan, Namo Namo Yamunaya Namo Namaha. Namo Namo Yamunaya Namo Namaha. It's a very, I cannot stop paying obeisances to him. I keep worshipping Alavanda, Yamunacharya. I have nothing else to do. That is my only goal. Even Alvar says, கைகளால் ஆற தழுவி வைகளும் மாத்திரை போதுமோர் வீடின் நீ in திருவாய்மொழி he says, கைகளால் ஆற தொழுது உன்னை வைகளும் மாத்திரை போதுமோர் வீடின் நீ. That is, I keep on worshipping you, performing Anjali towards you. I cannot stop that because Alvars and Acharyas, they are not performing this Anjali, obeisances, these as upayam. They are doing it as ultimate goal. Even muktas, they are constantly performing Anjali, saying Namaha, 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 and worshipping Bhagavan. So it is done as goal, not as upayam, not to do anything, not to acquire anything from them. It is to just show our true nature. Being servitor, we always worship Bhagavan. So here, Alavandar is worshipped in that manner. I keep worshipping Yamunacharya. I keep worshipping Yamunacharya. I cannot stop worshipping him, says Bhagavad Ramanuja. So these are the two Taniyans which bring out the greatness of Yamunacharya. In the subsequent session, next session, we will see the Avatarika, which is very detailed, very elaborate, which brings out the essence of this Prabandham, this Stotra Grantham. We will see that in the next session. Alvar Tirudikale Sharanam, Embemanar Tirudikale Sharanam, GR Tirudikale Sharanam, GR Tirudikale Sharanam, Alavandar Tirudikale Sharanam, Periyavachan Pillai Tirudikale Sharanam. We will try to have this every Saturday and go through the meanings of the wonderful Grantham. We were supposed to enjoy the Avatarika today, but because of little bit of lack of preparation and lack of time, I did the commencement where I have given the brief introduction. So from the next session, we will go and enjoy the Grantham as it is. the commentary based on Periyavachan Pillai's Vyakyanam. பல்லாண்டு பல்லாண்டு பல்லாயிரத்தாண்டு பல கோடி நூறாயிரம் மல்லாண்டு தின்றோன் மணிவண்ணா உன் சேவடி செவிதிருக்காப்பு அடியோமோடும் நோடும் பிரிவெண்ணி 1000 பல்லாண்டு வடிவாயினின் விளமார்பினில் வாழ்கின்ற மங்கையும் பல்லாண்டு வடிவார் சோதி வளத்துறையும் சிலர் ஆழியும் பல்லாண்டு படைப்போர் புக்கு முழங்கும் அப்பாஞ்ச சன்னியமும் பல்லாண்டே.